Hello football fans and welcome to my new video on YouTube. Today we'll talk about football in Central and North America and if at some point the national team of El Salvador will be able to win the Concacaf Gold Cup. So the national team managed to end up as runners-up on two occasions. First, in the 1963 edition, which took place in El Salvador as a host nation, the first ever Concacaf Championship Gold Cup event, and in 1981 they managed to end up as runners-up. This time the tournament was hosted by the Honduras. Undoubtedly, the best ever player in the history of the national team, as well as its top scorer, is Raúl Díaz Arce, a legendary figure in El Salvador, as well as a remarkable MLS player during the first years of MLS in the 90s. She was one of the greatest soccer football players in North America, but he never managed to shine in Europe or in South America, where football is not just a sport but a religion. Now, speaking about the World Cup history of El Salvador, it is the first team from Central America that managed to qualify at a World Cup event in 1970 in Mexico, and they also managed to qualify at the 1982 event in Spain, and in a group stage game versus Hungary, they were demolished by a 10-1 victory for Hungary, which remains the biggest scoreline at the FIFA World Cup Finals event. And ever since this tournament in Spain, El Salvador unfortunately has not managed to return to the World Cup competition. Speaking about the Salvadoran National League, well, it's definitely not among the strongest in Central and North America. And so far, 3 teams have won the Concacaf Champions League, but that was way back in the 60s and the 70s. Those 3 teams are Alianza, FAS, among the most popular and most supported teams in the nation, as well as Aguila. But we have to keep in mind that El Salvador, unfortunately, is among the least developed nations in Latin America. The country suffers from incredible amounts of corruption and severe crime, as well as extreme poverty, and obviously such social issues will also eventually have a negative impact in the development of football in the nation. And speaking about the future of the National League, I can say that I am positive because it's going to take like plenty of years for El Salvador to be able to challenge, financially speaking, the links of Mexico and the United States, be able to acquire quality players playing in the Salvadoran first division. And yeah, I'm definitely not optimistic about the future performances of clubs from El Salvador, and it's going to take plenty of years until we are going to see a Salvadoran club being able to become North and Central America champion. And finally, the ultimate question: will at some point El Salvador manage to win the Gold Cup, become North and Central American champions? Well, as I mentioned before, the nation is not developed at all. They are currently suffering with plenty of social issues, and as a result, right now, I believe the National Football Federation doesn't have the valuable resources that could make the El Salvador a strong team capable of becoming one of the most prominent challengers for titles in the Concacaf region. And we can see that the national team doesn't have any world class top level players playing in major European leagues. Most of the best players of El Salvador play in the MLS, which cannot be considered a strong league at all for worldwide standards. And the coach is Salvadoran American. Well, in the past, we could see that the federation also brought coaches from abroad to be able and have a significant impact in the national team. But so far, there haven't been any significant signs that El Salvador at some point will be able to at least make it in the final of a Gold Cup event. And I'm currently not very optimistic that this is going to happen in the near future. As I said, the government, alongside the National Football Federation, must find valuable resources, invest a lot in the football academies in the nation to be able and produce top level players. And we all know that in El Salvador, football is a religion, and without a doubt, the main priority right now for the government is to battle crime and corruption and focus less on the development of football. But football, so far, like in most Latin American countries, have been as a sport has been as a sport a life saver for many kids that want to escape violence and poverty, dreaming to become professional football players. And so far, so good. The main goal for I believe right now, the main focus for the national team and the federation is to focus into, through football, helping kids escape violence and poverty. And if some players have like outstanding talent, invest on them, and eventually we might see some top level Salvadoran players playing in major leagues in Europe, and at some point El Salvador as Concacaf Gold Cup champions, but this is going to be in the distant future and definitely not in the near future. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. Stay tuned for more interesting upcoming sports videos. Goodbye for now.